Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I always get people who ask me, why don't you cover more about this fake natty, that fake natty? Because here's the problem with it, guys. There are so many fake natties out there that I really have to pick and choose my battles. Otherwise, it would just be a continual game of whack-a-mole, and then before long, what ends up happening is that what people always say about me is, Jason just calls out everyone who looks better than him for being a fake natty. When the reality is this doesn't solve the problem. Sure, it's fun to do every now and then. Sure, it's fun to give people warnings. But the real situation with the fake natties is the freedom to operate that the supplement industry has. And even as a libertarian, I find it to be absurd that we have things like an FDA, and the supplement industry is basically allowed to get away with false advertising. And people don't realize that this is the reason the fake natty movement has become so profitable and so big, and it's so prevalent online, is because of the nature of the laws regulating the supplement industry in the United States. Meaning a lot of people don't know that the supplement industry is almost completely unregulated, and I mean to the point to where they can blatantly sell you poison and false advertise. They can sell you stuff that's going to kill you, and it's your job as a consumer to know that. They do not have the same rules in place that the FDA puts for either food manufacturers or that they have in place for drugs. Because you know what is required by the FDA for a drug to actually be pushed out on the market? They have to fully understand the risks of it. They have to understand the dangers. The FDA has to weigh out the benefits versus the risk. And they have to actually have multiple long-term studies proving that this drug actually does what they say it does. A lot of people are not aware that because of the Dietary Supplement Act of 1994 in the United States, the supplement industry is not bound by these rules. In fact, that act allowed this industry to go from $1 billion a year industry to a $38 billion a year industry. That's how much this industry makes. And that is because this industry is allowed to, number one, sell you products without proving that they are safe. In other words, you can have a product that the FDA is still evaluating to see if it causes testicular cancer or lung cancer or whatever it is, and until the FDA proves that this substance is dangerous, and they require it to be pulled off the shelves for supplement industry, the supplement industry can sell it. Drug companies can't do that. The risks have to be fully assessed before a drug company, big pharma, can crank out anything. They have to be fully assessed. Supplements do not. They can legally sell you a product that is going to kill you, that's poisonous, that's toxic, that elevates liver values, whatever, causes cancer. They can legally sell you this until it is proven that it is dangerous and the FDA demands it be pulled. That's why you see so many supplements come out and then get pulled later, because they're allowed to put them out with no regulation until that specific ingredient has a recall and the FDA bans it. And then they have like 30 days to get it off the shelves. Now, this is one of the reasons you always see companies like even Lobliner saying, well, I suspected this thing was spiked with an illegal drug and I pulled it. He didn't legally have to do that. He did that because he knew it would save him lawsuits. It would save him lawsuits. But you got to remember, in that case, that was just the drug spiking. You've got to remember, these companies also spike everything with drugs because they're a largely unregulated industry, because they know they can get away with it for a little while. And that's the classic bait and switch this industry does. They put drugs in their supplements, sell them to you, and then it gets a good reputation and they pull it off the shelf. And you'll hear people say, I've heard in podcasts, even among various enhanced guys, the most stupid thing of, yeah, when a new product comes out, buy it and stockpile it as soon as people claim it works, because it's full of free drugs. And that sounds cute in theory till you realize they're making a profit off those drugs. All right, it's not like you're getting them at even a good price. You're not getting them at a good price. They're making a profit off of selling them to you mixed into that protein powder or pre-workout or everything. So they're allowed to sell you stuff that is dangerous before it's pulled in the same thing. They can spike stuff and people can distribute it until the FDA catches them. And a lot of times they pull it out before the FDA catches it. And sometimes they do catch them. They leave it in too long. Then they recall it. They get a slap on the wrist after they've made their money. And then they keep selling the product without the additive in. And make money off of it. So you have to remember, they're not only allowed to sell you poison, they're allowed to sell products that don't work while basically claiming that they do. The FDA puts a disclaimer on there, but when they try to tell you, oh, this supplement will help you build muscle, this supplement will help you recover, there's usually no evidence to prove that. The industry is not willing to spend the hundreds of millions of dollars required to actually prove that. You need to understand that. They come up with something and say, hypothetically, we think it will, and then they sell it to you using these fake natties. But you have to remember, they're not required to prove that any of this stuff works. And if you really want to have a big death blow to the fake natties and stop this overwhelming number of fake natties who are selling products and conning people online, you have to make this industry more accountable to the consumers. Because that's usually the only reason, in my opinion, government should ever be involved in business, to make sure they're not selling you things that are going to harm you, and to make sure they're actually selling you what they claim they're selling you in terms of what it does. In other words, if a substance they claim it helps you with muscle recovery, it better. And if it doesn't, they need to shut it down. They need to be fined. They need to be forced out of business for basically conning people. And the problem we have in this industry is that all of our oversights are gone. Under normal capitalist system, you have consumer reviews and everything else. But because this industry is allowed to falsely advertise, it's hard to be someone who is does independent type consumer reports, because you have all these fake natties saying, well, this product works for me, it works for me, I use it, I distribute it, buy it. And there's a big, massive incentive for them to do that. It's an incentive for them to endorse products. It's an incentive to be paid to endorse products, because a lot of the supplement companies know that drugs and everything else are a possible problem for them. They've asked all their people to claim Natty. There's a financial incentive for people who are interacting with the supplement industry to claim Natty. If they don't claim Natty, they'll lose their sponsorships. So they've got a financial reason to do so that products can be pimped. If you start removing the ability of them to sell garbage products and use these fake natties to prop them up, you're going to see less and less fake natties. And what we also see, every fake natty out there starts their own supplement line, don't they? That's one of the biggest deals with these fake natties also. Again, allowed to sell you products that don't work, that possibly aren't even safe, and then use their claimed natty status as evidence that these products worked. All right, it's a big hustle, but this is the reason the fake natty phenomenon has grown so big. It's number one to sell you products. Now, we could get into the whole argument about selling programs also, and even running your YouTube channels, but it is this supplement end of it that's the biggest factor. And how do we do that? I don't know. We get the act repealed. Maybe we need to get big pharma involved. Maybe people need to outreach to big pharmaceutical companies and tell them, look, these people are cutting into your business. They don't have the same oversights that you have. That's really unfair in a competitive market, that they're allowed to crank out products that they claim build muscle when you guys are able to do it all the time. I mean, look how many companies are making SARMs now in an attempt to create safer products that do everything that anabolics were originally marketed to do for medical reasons, but these could be used for people who for non-medical purposes, and that are doing everything the supplements claim to do but better, right? Big pharma might actually have a financial incentive to push the supplement companies out, and then we have a situation to where if they're able to produce safer products, they would legitimately be able to dethrone the supplement industry, because they actually have the money and resources to develop products that work. The supplement industry's profit margins do not allow them to make products that work. And since they aren't required to make products that work, they just make products that don't work. And this is the core to the fake natty thing. This is the core to it. These companies being able to falsely advertise and then use fake natties to pimp their products is the reason we have this fake natty phenomenon to the extent that we have it. So you guys want to know what the real solution is? Not to find every single fake natty and call them out one at a time. That's not helpful in the long term. It really isn't. You have to get at the core of the matter. You have to get at the core of it and why the fake natty thing is a problem. Because we don't care that anyone's a fake natty. You shouldn't care that they're a fake natty unless they're using it to con people. Well, this is the number one con that we use. And if you want to stop the con, we need to stop it at the source, not on the symptom end with the fake natty. And that is forcing these companies to only sell products that can be proven actually work. There you go. There's your solution. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.